Policies and achievements of the EU in trade, environment, and integration. The European Union (EU) has played a pivotal role in shaping international trade, advancing environmental protection, and fostering regional integration. Its policies in these areas reflect the EU's commitment to promoting sustainable economic growth, protecting the environment, and enhancing cooperation among its member states. Over the years, the EU has implemented numerous policies and achieved significant milestones that have positioned it as a global leader in these fields. 1. EU trade policy and achievements. The EU is one of the world's largest trading blocs, accounting for a significant share of global trade in goods and services. The EU's trade policy is designed to foster open and fair trade, while protecting its industries and citizens. Trade agreements, market access, and trade regulations are central to the EU's trade strategy. A common commercial policy. The common commercial policy is the foundation of the EU's trade policy. It gives the EU exclusive competence to negotiate trade agreements on behalf of its member states. The policy aims to ensure the EU's global competitiveness by promoting free trade, reducing barriers, and enforcing rules-based international trade. B. Trade agreements. The EU has established a vast network of trade agreements with countries and regions worldwide, enhancing market access and fostering economic growth. Some notable agreements include Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement (CETA) with Canada. CETA has eliminated most tariffs between the EU and Canada, improved market access, and opened up public procurement markets. C. Achievements in trade policy. The EU's trade policy has achieved remarkable success in enhancing global trade, improving market access for European businesses, and protecting European industries. Key achievements include World Trade Leader. The EU is one of the largest global traders, accounting for 15% of global trade in goods and services. Single market success. The EU's single market, with free movement of goods, services, capital, and labor, has significantly boosted intra-EU trade and strengthened the EU's bargaining position in global trade negotiations. Sustainable trade. The EU is increasingly incorporating sustainability and labor standards into its trade agreements. These provisions ensure that trade policies contribute to environmental protection and workers' rights, as seen in recent agreements with Japan, Mexico, and Vietnam. 2. EU environmental policy and achievements. The EU has been a global leader in environmental protection and climate change mitigation. Through ambitious policies and regulations, the EU aims to promote sustainable development, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and protect biodiversity. The European Green Deal. The European Green Deal is the EU's flagship initiative for achieving climate neutrality by 2050. Launched in 2019, the Green Deal aims to transform the EU into a sustainable economy, while addressing climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. B. EU climate action. The EU has implemented a range of policies and regulations to combat climate change and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Emissions Trading System (ETS). The EU ETS is the world's largest carbon market, which sets a cap on the total amount of greenhouse gases that can be emitted by certain industries. Companies must purchase allowances to cover their emissions, incentivizing them to reduce emissions and invest in cleaner technologies. Renewable Energy Directive. The EU has set binding targets for renewable energy use, aiming to increase the share of renewables in the EU's energy mix to 32% by 2030. C. Achievements in environmental policy. The EU's environmental policies have led to significant achievements in reducing emissions, promoting renewable energy, and protecting biodiversity. Key achievements include reduction in greenhouse gas emissions between 1990 and 2019. The EU reduced its greenhouse gas emissions by 24, while its economy grew by 60. This decoupling of economic growth and emissions demonstrates the success of the EU's climate policies. Renewable energy growth. The EU has become a global leader in renewable energy, with wind and solar power playing an increasingly important role in the EU's energy mix. In 2020, renewables generated more electricity than fossil fuels in the EU. For the first time, circular economy transition. The EU has made significant progress in promoting the circular economy, with policies aimed at reducing wastes, promoting recycling, and encouraging sustainable production and consumption. 3. EU integration policies and achievements. The process of European integration has been central to the EU's mission since its inception. Through political, economic, and social integration, the EU aims to foster peace, stability, and prosperity among its member states. A single market. The single market is one of the EU's greatest achievements. Established in 1993, it allows for the free movement of goods, services, capital, and people across EU member states. The single market has eliminated internal trade barriers and regulatory obstacles, creating one of the world's largest and most integrated economic areas. B. Economic and Monetary Union (EMU). The Economic and Monetary Union (EMU) represents a further step in the integration process. The EMU includes the coordination of economic and fiscal policies, a common monetary policy, and the use of a single currency, the euro. The euro, introduced in 1999 and currently used by 20 member states. The euro is the second most traded currency in the world. The Eurozone facilitates economic stability, reduces transaction costs, and promotes cross-border investment and trade. C. Schengen Area. The Schengen Area allows for passport-free travel across most EU countries, facilitating the free movement of people. Established in 1995, the Schengen Agreement has been a cornerstone of European integration, promoting greater social and economic ties among member states. D. Achievements in integration. European integration has led to a number of significant achievements, including economic growth. The single market and EMU have fostered economic growth and development across the EU, making it one of the largest economic areas in the world. Peace and stability. The EU has played a crucial role in maintaining peace and stability in Europe, particularly after the devastation of World War II. Through cooperation and shared governance, the EU has fostered unity and reconciliation among former adversaries. Social integration. The EU has promoted social integration through policies aimed at protecting workers' rights, promoting gender equality, and ensuring social inclusion. Globalization and the European Union (EU). Globalization, characterized by the increasing interconnectedness of economies, cultures, and societies, has profoundly influenced the European Union (EU). As both a product and a driver of globalization, the EU plays a pivotal role in shaping global governance, trade, environmental policy, and cultural exchange. The relationship between globalization and the EU is multifaceted, with both positive outcomes and challenges. 1. Economic globalization and the EU. The EU has embraced economic globalization by promoting free trade, economic integration, and a single market. It has established itself as one of the world's largest trading blocs, negotiating trade agreements with countries around the globe. The EU's common commercial policy, which ensures a unified trade stance, enables the EU to effectively engage in global trade negotiations. Agreements like the EU-Japan Economic Partnership and the EU-Canada Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement (CETA) demonstrate its influence on the global stage. Through economic globalization, EU businesses have gained access to new markets, while consumers benefit from a wider variety of goods and services. However, globalization has also led to challenges, such as increased competition, job losses in certain sectors due to outsourcing, and growing economic inequality within and between member states. The EU has responded with social policies aimed at mitigating these negative impacts, such as the European Globalization Adjustment Fund (EGF), which helps workers affected by global trade shifts. 2. Political and cultural globalization. The EU's role in global governance has been bolstered by globalization. It actively participates in international organizations like the World Trade Organization, WTO, and the United Nations (UN), influencing global policy on trade, climate change, human rights, and development. The EU's diplomatic power, driven by its ability to act collectively, enhances its capacity to promote European values such as democracy, human rights, and the rule of law on the global stage. Culturally, globalization has facilitated the exchange of ideas, practices, and values across Europe. The EU supports cultural diversity and intercultural dialogue through initiatives such as the Erasmus program, which promotes student and professional exchanges across Europe and beyond, fostering greater understanding and collaboration among nations. 3. Environmental globalization. Globalization has also highlighted the need for coordinated environmental action, as challenges like climate change transcend national borders. The EU has emerged as a global leader in environmental governance, championing initiatives such as the European Green Deal, which aims to make Europe the first climate-neutral continent by 2050. The EU also plays a key role in international climate agreements, including the Paris Agreement, setting ambitious targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions and promoting sustainability worldwide.